In previous videos, I said the Enforcer was essentially halfway between a 9mm and a revolver, but I don't know that that's actually true. While it takes 4 body shots to kill someone, which is right in between the damage that the revolver and the 9mm do, the fire rate is much more like the 9mm, and even from the start, the gun is a lot more accurate than the revolver, with much less recoil. In addition to the fact that it can be silenced, the Enforcer actually feels a lot more like a souped up 9mm, which might explain why it costs 1 loadout point. The first thing I have to say about the Enforcer is do not be afraid to rapid fire this gun. For the longest time I thought it was slower than a 9mm, but if you time your trigger finger just right, you can fire the Enforcer incredibly fast, slowing down, stunning, and disorienting the enemy surprisingly effectively. One thing I said about the double barrel shotgun in my review of it was that it was the perfect thing to spend that 1 remaining loadout point on. What I failed to mention is that the Enforcer also serves this purpose quite wonderfully. Especially if you're building a class where your only gun is a pistol. Upgrading from the 9mm to the Enforcer is going to make surviving much easier on yourself. While Gunslinger is kind of a no-brainer to use with the Enforcer, I don't really recommend using it unless the only gun you're going to use is the Enforcer. You've done just fine without Gunslinger up until this DLC was released, so there's no urgent reason why you should need it now. The Enforcer also works quite well with stealth loadouts. With so many stealth-centric boosters to choose from now, I recommend you don't silence your Enforcer in a stealth class, and instead use those 2 extra loadout points towards a stealth booster like Covert Training, Executioner, or Agility. While the Enforcer is a great gun, it's also probably the least interesting of the new DLC weapons, which means there's not a whole lot to say about it. The Enforcer is effective on all maps and in almost all situations, and it's easily the most well-rounded pistol in the game, which means if you can spare 1 loadout point, you'd be doing yourself a huge favor by upgrading to the Enforcer. The only other thing I can do really is recommend some class setups that I've found utilize the Enforcer especially well. So here they are. Thank you guys for watching my weapon reviews on The Last of Us DLC. I'll be bringing you more videos on The Last of Us DLC, specifically commentaries and some tips and tricks on how to build class setups and stuff like that, and some of the new boosters, how you can use some of them, even with some of the older guns that aren't from the DLC. So stay tuned for that stuff, guys. If you have any ideas for videos you want to see, let me know in the comments, and I will definitely consider them. And yeah, so thank you guys for watching. I will talk to you guys in the comments.